on. Um, Welcome, of course. This is the Angels in Politics broadcast. I am in a different environment right now. Of course, you know who this is. This is the creative and artistic manifestation of Angels in Politics, the White Collar Goon. Uh, have you had your meal today? So you haven't had your breakfast? Okay, that's good. That's okay. Like you're still on your fast. Stay on that. I think I'm going to have a meal soon. It's about 2:30 for me, or a little past 2:30. I just came back from a real estate seminar, a real estate conference. Um, but I do have a message for you today. I shot a video, or I created a video earlier this afternoon, and I didn't get it to. It didn't record. Evidently, well, not evidently. My storage on my phone was too. I was too full. There's not enough space. So whatever the case may be, the video didn't upload, and it was the right thing. It was the best thing. That was the Lord telling me, or forcing me, or allowing me to know that that wasn't the time, or maybe some things in that video were supposed to be expressed, maybe not in that light. So thank you, Holy Spirit, for that. But now I'm going to utilize this video to go over what I spoke about in my last video. Maybe I won't be as, lit, as fired up, as turned up. But I still want to bring you that content, right? Because I feel like it is qualitative. I feel like it is pertinent information. I feel like it could be, or should be, beneficial to you. So, boom. I mentioned before, you don't really know somebody until you know what makes them upset. You really don't understand a person until you see what gets them going or gets them fired up, or you can't really ascertain what drives a person. What You can't really see the full spectrum of an individual until you've seen that individual show their face. And when I mean show their face, I mean activate the goon. When I say activate or know the goon, that means, oh, show that side of them that I don't normally see on a day-to-day basis. Now the goon can be, oh, I'm turned up, I'm upset, or the goon can be, oh, I am sexual, I am, intimate, I am, there are parts are, I will say there are parts of our personality spectrum that we keep hidden, of course, because everybody doesn't see that, and it's not for everybody, especially if you have a significant other, because that may be who you show your intimate side to. That may be who you show your artistic side to, or your emotional side to, or your vulnerable side to. All of that can be your goon, right? Because the goon is something that you that is hidden here. It is something that you don't necessarily show all the time, because we walk around with a persona, right? A persona could be a mask. We have a persona whenever we are in the workplace, meaning we show these traits of ourselves here, or we have a persona whenever we are with our parents, or with our, we have a persona whilst we're in church, right? 'Cause we want to show that side. But the goon is like, oh, that's the other side, and we only can reveal certain things whenever we are with our close friends and we're playing sports, or we are with our, sorority sisters, or our fraternity brothers, or our childhood friends, or, our book club, people, or, whatever the case may be, we might show that face. So somebody might say, well, yeah, well, what about you, Goon? What about you, white collar Goon? Like, what gets you turned up? Because we see that you're turned up all the time. My turned up isn't necessarily anger. My turned up isn't like, oh, I want to fight somebody, because I'm not a violent person. I've never been. My turned up is like, oh, like now I have to speak. Now I have to speak to this. And now I have to let you know I'm not with this shit. Now I have to let you know that I have to, like, show my face, right? So, I was, walking around with these I would say dialogues that were like replaying in my head for a while, and through my own awakening process, my own Kundalini awakening process, that of course I will have to detail in another video, or videos, or whatever the case may be. It's going to take a while to even devolve and deconstruct all of that. But with the awakening process, you deconstruct the ego, and it's emotional. You really go into your emotions, and you're reconfiguring. It's almost you're recalibrating your the way you think and how you operate. And through this process, and it's a beautiful process that is undergoing at this time, or if you are in the midst of a awakening. It's beautiful. It's tumultuous. It's you might be filled with melancholy and torment and despair and disparagement, but at the same time, that's just the darker side. The beauty is that you're gonna go to the light and really see that you had to experience these things for you to have a more enlightened and positive outlook on life. So when I'm thinking about a lot of these emotions, a lot of old emotions resurface. A lot of old conversations that I've had have resurfaced, and it's almost like they've been playing like a recorder in my head, and I haven't had these conversations with my friends or peers in over 5, 6, 7 years, maybe even longer, 8, 9, 10 years, right? So it's like, damn, Gabe, why are you rehashing things from 2010 or 2011 and it's 2020 right now? Well, it's because these things like stuck out to me, and they've resonated with me. And now that I am shooting these videos, and now that I'm expressing this to you, I would like to let you know, like, what really bothers me, what fucks with me, like what gets me going, and why am I this way? What made me hold this light, or hold this candle, or carry this torch, and move in this way? And what way is that, right? Why are you the femininity cheerleader now, Gabe? Like, why have you chosen to be the cheerleader of self-confidence and self-esteem? Like, where did this come from, right? And not just for females, and not just for, the feminine energy, even though I am the cheerleader for the divine feminine. It's more so like, I want to give this information to everybody, especially in particular males, young males. And that's something different altogether too. But somebody might be saying, okay, so what burns you up? I had a friend of mine, well, I still have a friend of mine, of course. But a few years ago, 10 years ago, I had a homeboy who always made, to me, he made references about women that they weren't disrespectful. So I'm not going to say that. He didn't bash them, or he didn't necessarily, he wasn't violent towards them. He didn't harass them. He wasn't that kind of guy. What I found out was that he always had something to say in regards to women, as far as being in opposition with them. Like, it was almost as if, like, he had to compete with women, in a sense of, like, not like who can run the fastest or who's the smartest. It was almost like, he just really he wasn't much of a fan, I think. And when somebody says, like, what does that mean? Like, was he homosexual? No. Like, he liked girls, you know what I'm saying? I mean, he liked women who are attractive to him, or whatever the case may be. But you find guys who just have this, the term that I've come to classify it as, who are just pro bro. There's a term they say pro bono, but, like, this is a pro bro. And what I think what I think of this guy, and I found this to be a correlating, or a corresponding, you know, characteristic with people that I've met or read about, or, who I've looked into, or, as far as documentaries, or, just books. You find that there's a lot of guys who are like this, right? I will go as far as to say, maybe the majority. Maybe if you lined up 10 guys, maybe 7 might be these pro bro guys. And somebody might say, what is pro bro? These are the guys who, whenever they were in second, third, or fourth grade, these were the guys that were saying, like, girls had cooties, right? These were the guys who were like, they loved to maybe play outside, or play with the boys, and had their toys. And when the girls came over, they were like, no, get away. We don't like you girls. We don't want to play with you girls. We don't want to share with you girls. All right. These were the guys in middle school who weren't keen. they weren't pressed. Whenever the young ladies were going through puberty, and the young males are going through puberty, these weren't the guys who were infatuated with the changes that girls were going through. These weren't the guys who were engaging or interfacing with women in their sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade classes, right? So they enjoyed being with their friends, their male friends, right? These were the guys who felt like boys are supposed to be here playing with the boys' toys and the boys' groups, and we're gonna have our boys' conversation because it's guy time, and you girls are supposed to be here because this is for the girls, and we don't want us to mix, and we don't want us to merge, and we don't want to triangulate with you females, with you ladies, because we just aren't too interested. We just don't really care. And that's the interesting thing, is because it's not like they were going out of their way to cause harm to these girls, right? These guys aren't the type to berate women with insults or anything like that. These guys are simply just not pressed. They're not like, even if they found a girl or two attractive in their class in high school, these weren't the guys to go after it. These weren't the guys who had in high school, these weren't the guys who had friends, female friends, lady friends, young women friends, like, I mean, at one point in time, these guys go to college, or maybe they grow up and then they get a girlfriend, and they like this girlfriend, and with that girlfriend that they have, then they can develop strong relations and cultivate a relationship with them, and then it moves on from there. Maybe they might even get married to that girl. Maybe they might date once or twice, or maybe three times, but maybe they might. The dating is minimal. The dating is very minimal because they don't have a desire to date a lot. They don't have a desire to hang out with women. They don't have a desire to bring women around. It's just, and I have to keep emphasizing, there is no desire. It's not like they're laying in the back of their room in their bed, and before going to bed, it's going through their mind like, damn, how can I be more attractive to women? How can I hang out with more women? How can I get that one girl who I'm really keen on, who I'm supremely interested in, who I feel like is stunning, who I feel like is out of my league, or whatever the fuck that means. Like, how can I get her to align herself or align her energy with me? These guys don't have that. Right? Because I guess they don't really, it's not really a thing, like dating wasn't really a thing. Having these relationships with these women, I mean, they might like the one that they find, the one that comes their way. These are the guys who aren't going to make that outward approach to women. These are the guys who, they got married, or they got they had a girlfriend, and then they ended up getting married, but the way they had the girlfriends was by the girl like speaking to them, or the girl making the move on them, even though they might feel like they made the move, but no, the girl actually pulled you. She just put herself in position to make it feel like you did the work, right? So I've realized at the age of now that I'm on the I'm close to the 30 side, and I'm 30 plus, and I guess I'm in that realm. I look back and I see a lot of my friends, or I see a lot of my peers, and the majority of my peers are married. The majority of my peers now have wives and kids, and they're very happy. Very few of my friends are still single, right? And some people would say, well, because I mean, I got myself sorted. I found my soulmate, and those are the ones who are winners, who have found their soulmates and they're happy. But then I realized, did they really? Did some of these guys really find their soulmate, or was it really just like, well, they dated one or two girls, and after the one or two they dated, they were cool with it, like, and then it just worked out from there. I don't know if it was really like, did they really have experiences as to say, well, since I went out here, I know what's out there, and then now I can have this dedicated relationship? Or was it ever like, I'm testing the market? Is it ever like, I'm going out there to figure myself out? Or was it like, it's just here for me, right? And since this girl likes me, I'll just go with it, right? So I struggle with thinking about my friend, because I realized he was such a pro bro, and I'm so like not, right? Like, and maybe that's why I'm the femininity cheerleader. Like, I enjoyed hanging out with girls. I mean, in first grade. I mean, I remember being in preschool, and I have pictures of myself, like from Texas, San Antonio, Texas, when I lived there in 1994. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it shows pictures of me holding hands with a young girl from San Antonio, and she was Mexican, and I'm sitting there smiling because I remember liking that girl, and I remember having a quote unquote girlfriend in preschool and kindergarten and in second grade, and always having girlfriends and like friends with girls and whatever a play girlfriend is at the time. I always had that type of thing. So it was like, how are guys living and operating, and they're completely fine without being in what they're completely fine without feminine energy. They're completely fine without hanging out with girls. They don't have the same type of they don't get the same type of enjoyment or satisfaction or gratification that I get when I see women in their makeup and their hair and their style of clothing, and their nails are done and their toes are done, and they're showing their feet, and they're showing their physique, and they're expressing themselves. And they don't have the same feeling that I have whenever I hear the tones of voices, and I like to hear women in their voices, and I like to hear them speak, because women are very articulate and women speak very well, and I like the way they use their words, and I like the way their mouth moves, and I like the way I like the intricacies, I like the nuances, I like the idiosyncrasies of women, but and there are guys who like that with their wives. They like that with their daughter. They like that with the women that are in their sphere of influence. Their mom, their dad. I mean, their mom, their aunt, their sister, their wife, or whatever. They like that. But as far as like women as a whole, women as a general, women in general, there are so many guys who are like divisive. Like there's so many guys who are on one side of the fence. These are guys who are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever, and they're still equivalent to like that 7-year-old mindset that girls have cooties. Girls are like not us. Like we can't hang out with the girls. We don't want the girls around us. Like we don't want that women energy. We like, so when I say pro bro, these are the guys that if you ask them what their ideal day was, well, really, you don't have to ask them. You can just watch their life. Their ideal day would be to hang out with their male friends. And they will smoke weed with their male friends, or they will drink with their male friends, and they will play video games with their male friends, and they will walk around with their male friends. And that is what they desire. That's what makes them happy. And me, when I was in college and I was in high school, I was like, I'm hang out. I want to hang out with the young ladies. Like, if we got bottles, let's invite the ladies. If I have wine, I want to drink with the women. If I have weed, I want to smoke with women. Like, so I felt like me and the homie were divisive because he didn't get that, and I felt like he used to make jokes about these women around me because I guess he would see that I would opt to hang out with girls rather than them, or rather, you know what I'm saying? Or I would try to bring it together. It's like, oh, bro, I know we're cool and all, but let's invite the homegirl whoop de whoop and her friends. And I could see him kind of being like almost like agitated, or almost like he not in compliance, almost like why would you mess up this bro fest, this group of brotherhood? Like, why would you fuck that up by inviting girls over? And there's a lot of guys like that. I feel like there are so many guys who, like I said, they're not gonna berate you with insults. They're not gonna harm you. They're not the ones pushing you in the middle road. They're not gonna be violent against you. They just honestly aren't pressed. These are the type of guys that when girls are dressed up and they look nice, they walk by these guys. These guys aren't really checking for them. And I've never been that way, man. I've never been that way. I've always been the type who loved I mean, the female energy. I've always been the type that liked hanging out with girls. I was the type that if I'm gonna smoke weed, let me hotbox with the girls. Let me bring the girls over and we can smoke with them, and let's drink with the girls. And I was that way, and I still am. And I guess this is the reason why I have this platform. I guess this is the reason why I'm doing this, is because, a lot of people don't have that type of shit. A lot of people don't feel that kind of way. So you might be hanging out, you might know these guys. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, you might know these dudes, and you might wonder like, why do these guys like hit me up on the DM or in the DM, and why do they slide in my whatever, but yet when they see me they don't speak, or whenever I'm around they don't want to hang out, or why do these guys feel like I'm against them, and they have so much vitriol against me? It's nothing personal. I'm gonna let you know it's nothing personal. Some of these guys just aren't too pressed, man. They just have no desire for it. And I guess That used to burn me up, but now I realize this is the reason why I am the way I am. I am the femininity cheerleader.